Everyone. Lovely to have you here. If you're joining us tonight, either here on Zoom, on Twitter, YouTube, or you're watching the recording in our resource library, thank you so much for being a part of this. We have a wonderful speaker with us tonight, who is Becky Craven. Hello, Becky, once again, and thank you for joining us.
Hi.
Lovely. The topic for tonight, as you already know, is SEO and getting found on Google. So we're very curious to hear what Becky has to say on this topic. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat. And at the end, we'll leave a couple of minutes for Becky to answer. So that's probably the most important thing said. If you're a Freelancer Club member, you'll find this recording in our resource library. If not, you can drop us a message as well, and I'll direct you in the right way. That's probably everything from me. I see a couple of you joining as we go, so that's fine that this is recorded, so you can watch the beginning if you miss it. I won't waste any more of your time because we have a lot to cover tonight. So over to you, Becky, and thank you once again for joining us.
Great. Hi, welcome along. I'm just going to start by sharing my screen, and I'll leave Gabby to let everybody in the waiting room that I can see, and hopefully you can all see my screen. I've put on the bottom right hand corner there, it's a QR code. If you want to scan that, it'll take you over to my page where you can sign up and have like a Friday newsletter that I send out, all full of content ideas and things that you might want to find helpful during the week to be able to post on. And so I will begin. Gabby, you're okay to let people in. I can see lots of people pinging up, but we'll just ignore that. Okay. So welcome to this session on Lost and Found, how to stand out on Google. I've got 30 minutes, so I'm going to talk really quickly. Hi, my name is Becky Craven. I am a photographer and I've run my own commercial business since 2006. I teach at universities and colleges, but also I teach individually people to be able to stand out online. So I run training workshops on all sorts of different things, whether it's Adobe InDesign and Photoshop, or whether it's doing things like search engine optimization as well here. I've been super lucky with some of the people that I have worked with. Some of them you'll probably find in your own cupboards, but generally I've done lots of different work for these people. So if you have any questions, whether it's search engine optimization related, or whether it's to do with photography or any kind of activity in marketing, I'm more than happy. If you pop the details in the chat, then I'm more than happy to try and help you. I just really enjoy being able to help people develop their work a little bit more. So at the moment, we are in quite a messy middle of decision making, particularly post-pandemic. We have, even as consumers ourselves, if you think back over the last week when you have done a search on Google, or when you have looked for something particular, whether it's a present for somebody, or maybe you're just trying to find where you're at with your business at the moment in terms of, I have a set of goals, but how am I going to get to that place? We are in this messy place at the moment, and it's not that even easier for us to be able to do it. And you would think that if we live in society where we can, like we are now, we are across nations, but we are also able to kind of talk with each other so much easier, in theory, via social media, via Zoom, via any of that. But when we think about our own customers, our own ideal clients, if you put yourself in their situation, it's how easy is it for them to access us? Are they going on to Google to be able to find out where they find the answer to their question? Are they going on to Instagram? Are they looking on TikTok? Are they searching on YouTube or Twitter? So instead of having one or two elements of where people can find answers, what we find is at the moment, we have so many different places that we can find answers that actually, as business owners, we need to be super clear on whereabouts we want to position ourselves in order to help that untangling, unraveling of that messiness that perhaps is not helpful. So I just want to ask a question from the get-go. As business owners, we're all business owners, we're freelancers, we are creatives, we are here running a business, however you want to put it. You're putting yourself out there online. So as a business owner online, what is your job? I'm just going to pause a minute and let a few questions come in here. I can see the chat, Gabby, but there may well be things coming from other places. I say that I can see the chat. Actually, I can't see the chat at all when I'm presenting. So I would, yeah, either shout out, put it in the chat, whichever you want. What's your job as a business owner online? Do we have anyone out there responding? Gabby, I can't see the chat. I can see people have put something, but I can't actually read it, I'm afraid.
Okay, I can just encourage anyone to drop a message in the chat. I hope you can guys see it. I see Vladimir writing wedding event photographer. So that's
okay.
What is the job he does.
Okay.
Correct. Thank you, Vladimir. A couple of people in here, so feel free to drop what do you do. James Melia, we have in here. He is a wedding photographer. Who else? What are the other jobs you attendees
I'm
here
asking,
do?
So the question I'm asking is less about what it is you do as your job, but as a business owner online, what is your job to do? So I'm a photographer. James is a photographer. I know James. Hi. What is my job online? Is it for me to talk about photography or to talk about search engine optimization or to talk about, what is my job? I'll help you out a little bit as we are limited in time. But as a business owner, it's not my job to talk about the photography that I've taken. Neither is it my job to necessarily be specific. I believe if we come at it as business owners from a totally different angle, and actually our job, I think, is to answer my ideal clients' questions to serve and help them. So it is not my job to talk about the photographs that I've taken before. It's not my job, if I'm a copywriter, to talk about copy and how I write and what I write. Actually, is to answer the questions that my ideal client asks when they turn up in Google. And if you think back to what have you Googled this week? What have you searched for? Because the job of standing out on Google is not to kind of talk about ourselves necessarily, it's to be able to answer these questions. So if I give you a little story that a few weeks back, my washing machine broke. I know nothing about washing machines. And so what I looked up was, what does an E17 on a Miele washing machine mean? Had this great directive straight to YouTube to give me the answer. And from that YouTube video, this guy in the States, he told me which little bit I needed, which little thing I needed to order. Sure enough, I could order it directly from his website. I could also go across and find some other people who gave the reviews to this person. And I got this little gadget in the post. A couple of days later, put it in my washing machine by following another YouTube video, and I fixed it and I solved the problem. So be able to answer those questions, to be able to turn up and think about it. Now, the first thing I want to say to you is if anyone isn't using Google My Business, if you want to stand out on Google, then use the tools that Google gives you. This is free. A lot of people overlook it because they think, oh, it's just going to attach to a Google map. But actually, first of all, it allows you to gather a number of reviews. So the more reviews you have, the more credibility that Google will see within you, but also you can help your search engine ranking. It helps you to stand out. Even if you're not a bricks and mortar location, it doesn't matter. You can put whereabouts. If you work globally because you want to be able to run courses online, then you can put that. If you run in a section of a country, you can equally put that out. But Google is the #1 location for rankings and reviews currently, particularly for product and service-based industries. It's free to use. It's super easy to set up. You can gather reviews, as I say, through it. You can use it like a social media platform. So if you're posting onto Instagram or using LinkedIn or anything, you can copy and use the same posts and use that on your Google My Business profile as well. So use it as a posting. Step and repeat. Don't duplicate your work, but don't think about it as I have to only create one thing for each of these different platforms. We're business owners, we're super busy. So use your Google My Business platform for you to be able to stand out and build that business profile. The second thing I want to say is use YouTube. Only 9% of small businesses here in the UK are actively using YouTube. As it's owned by Google, it has so much more credibility. Giving back to the idea about my washing machine person, it took me to a YouTube video. Now, if we could dissect what we do in business and explain to people, either through reviews, so hop onto Zoom, get one person that you've created some work for that are super happy with what you've done, have yourself on the other side and do like a quick 5-minute interview. What did you enjoy about the business? What did you find helpful? What did you like about it? Because whenever you're creating opportunities, it's for you to be able to show and give that credibility. So not only are you creating reviews, say on your Google My Business, but you can use your YouTube channel for that. You don't have to turn up frequently on YouTube. Being able to do it once or twice a month is going to help you to be able to be more visible. And for Google to be able to see you and to use those different platforms, as I put on here, on a mobile phone alone, YouTube reaches more 18 to 34-year-olds and 18 to 49-year-olds than any TV station does in the UK. So if you're a small business owner and you're thinking about investing in your marketing, why would you not invest in YouTube? We have so much more facilities with our laptops and our mobile phones to be able to use that as a functionality. So I encourage you to have a go and try and stand out from everybody else and try and turn up. And even if it's a messy start, see what response you get, see how you can kind of create that in your business itself. The third thing I want to talk to you about is how to never finish your website. Lots of people get to the stage of planning their website, creating their website, and they're like, oh yeah, thank goodness, I finished it. Big tick in the box. I've done my website, job done. Some people have not touched their website maybe for a year or 2 years. If that is you, then let me know, give me a wave. But I encourage you to never finish your website. And this is the reason why, and I apologize for any vegans or vegetarians that perhaps are in the room at the moment. What is search engine optimization? And there's lots of kind of smoke and mirrors to suggest that it is many things, but in its simplest form. And if you are looking at how you can stand out on Google as running your business and you have got a website of maybe 5 to 10 pages, if you're in that area, then the search engine optimization that you can do, and this will make a difference in your business if you start it today, and I'll explain how it works. Search engine optimization is simply about how your website will help you to stand out online so that when somebody arrives in Google or Bing or any other search engine facility, the same principles apply. They arrive online with a question. They are looking for an answer. And here's the analogy. There are spiders, and these spiders are sent out from Google, and they search and they crawl all over the websites, all over the internet, every single day. They are looking and they are searching. And these spiders are so hungry. What they like to eat is a massive, juicy, fat steak. They love to have a big quantity of meat. So these spiders are going out onto all of our websites. They're looking for juicy content. And the content for them, as I say, imagine this big juicy steak. The content for them is 500 to 750 words, images that have got alt tags on, some video that is well placed onto your website. They are things that they make them and fill them up with content. And when they have got this content, what they do is they wave their little spider flag and they go, hey, this website has got some great content. It's produced a new page. It's come out today. It's got everything I need to know about this particular question. It answers my question in so many different ways. So let's take it with our little spider legs back to the giant filing cabinet that is Google, and it puts it in the filing cabinet. Now it'll put it at the beginning, maybe. If you do that again tomorrow or in a week's time, the spiders will go out and they will do the same thing. So you move from the back of the filing cabinet a little bit forward, a little bit forward. You show consistency. You continually answer questions. You are helpful in the way that you respond to the questions that your ideal clients are asking, the questions that people ask generally in your business. You are not constantly talking about what you do. It's less about that, and it's more about educating and helping. And gradually, if you do that, if you blog, if you update your website, if you write more pages, the bigger the pages, the bigger the quantity, the size of your website, the higher you will rank. And if you do that consistently, if you did it once a week for 6 months, you will stand out on Google on first page. I can tell you that because I've done it for Festival Wedding Photographer. It's exactly where I was. I don't do it anymore in that same kind of way, but that is how you do it. When you have got a website that is starting to rank and you have a larger quantity of pages, and if you consistently do this for a couple of years and you keep it and it's consistent, then you can start to look into more details of search engine optimization. But it is not something that you're going to be able to pay someone to do. The things that you can pay, if you struggle with this concept, the things that are helpful to do is use a copywriter. If you struggle to be able to write things, what I do is I use my voice notes. I use my voice notes and then I can give it to a copywriter for them to write it if I want to. If you have other people in this freelance group, I'm sure that are writers, that they can then help you to be able to formulate a clear plan. What I also do is, I'm a little bit lazy. What I do is I take that blog post that's got around about 750 words and I take chunks of it to be able to then use on my Instagram or my TikTok or my LinkedIn. So I'm writing one piece of content and I'm snapping that up into 3 or 4 pieces of social media content. So I'm not constantly reinventing the wheel. So my search engine optimization then happens across multi-channels. As I say here, it is omni-channel search engine optimization. I give Beyonce as an example because she came out this week talking about her new tour. It gives us an idea about multi-channel, omni-channel. So search engine optimization is not just happening on your website, but if you put into a search, you will see in this particular one, I think there's 531 billion results for Beyonce. So, hey, she's doing really well. Search for yourself, search for the things that you want to stand out with and look at the search results that you see in there. But you will find, first of all, perhaps your website will come up. You might find your YouTube or your Spotify in this case, or maybe your Instagram or your YouTube channels. These all help and support Google thinking, who is this person and what are they about? All these omni-channel, multiple channels will feed into that opportunity. The other thing you can do that's free for all of us to do, and a lot of people overlook, is use Wikipedia. Write your own Wikipedia. It's super simple. It gives people a little précis, your CV on who you are, what you do. It'll also help you stand out with your search engine optimization. And then the next thing with your omni-channel, you can see here going down, you've got Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Facebook. They all build into how you stand out on your search engine, how you stand out onto Google. So even if you're just doing one social media platform consistently or posting on your website, all of these things will help you to be able to stand out on Google as a whole. Let's just finish off with some 6 helpful tips of things and tools that you can use yourself. So you might want to grab a pen and paper for this. Use Google's own functionality. The Google Search Console helps you to see how good your stats are on Google. So it helps you to look at your analytics. It tells you how many people are clicking, how many impressions, what's actually happening on the back end of your website. A little bit different to Google Analytics itself, but it helps you to see where you are in terms of performance and where Google is ranking you for your scoring there. I really like this site, Neil Patel. He does loads of stuff on marketing. If you don't know him, go and have a look. But he runs this site called Uber Suggest, which runs alongside Google. And in here, you can see all the activity that any of your competitors are doing, because don't forget, web code is universal, it's free for all. So if you're thinking that your competitors are doing really well, or you really like their website, go onto the back end and you'll be able to see actually how many people are looking at that. The other thing this is great for, which is showing you here, is keywords. So if you think you might want to stand out in this example, digital transformation training or digital marketing training, I can see that the cost for these ones, if I wanted to run adverts, I can see the cost of these. So some of these, this one here, £11.85 per click, digital marketing training online, that keyword at that particular time was coming out at £11 a click. If I thought that's not where my budget is and I don't want to run adverts, what else can I do? Digital training courses, just by changing some of the terminology and using those keywords at £4.62. That means that it'll be cheaper for me if I want to run adverts, but more interestingly, it's a cheaper keyword to convert to as well. So people still searching for it, I'm likely to rank higher because there's less people using it. Therefore, I'm going to be looking for keywords that's going to give me a quick and easy response for what the work is I'm doing. So Lots of stuff in Neil Patel. Find out more about your competitors also using SEMrush. So you put in a domain name. You can do one free search per day, and it will give you lots of information about how you can develop your search engine optimization, what content to be able to do, some market research. So it's a good one to be able to look at there. Answer the Public, you've probably heard of, but in this example, I put in photography business. Didn't get so many results. Sometimes I do this for clients and we get loads of different questions, but this is real-time questions that people have asked online. So if I'm thinking, I want to talk about my photography business, what can I do? I can then answer the question, what makes your photography business unique? Or who's interested in photography? Who, what, when, will, all those things. And it gives me super easy, free to use, highly searched options. So the bright orange ones are highly searched. When I'm thinking about what content do I need to write on my website, the answer is I need to answer these questions because people last week were asking them online about photography businesses. So if I'm never stuck for what I want to be able to say, always answer the questions that people are asking. It fluctuates, it changes different times of year. So it's something that you can dip into, slap on the wall, be able to start writing those content ideas. Use this also on your social media so that you can stand out within that too. If I want to be able to improve my backlinks, go to websites that have higher values. So in this case, Cat at Rock and Roll Bride for me was somewhere I wanted to stand out because it was relevant to my audience. If my window cleaner wants to link to my website, have nothing to do with window cleaning, it's not a quality backlink. So it's not something that you want to go out to all your friends and family and say, hey, do you want to collect backlinks and we'll share everything? No, what we want to be able to do is to create those quality backlinks. So find other blogs, websites that you want to connect with that are relevant to you so that you have that valuable backlink list. And also you can have this supplier list here to be able to help you to grow that. If you're not sure what backlinks you already have, lots of us have backlinks already. So that might be something that links from your Facebook page or your Instagram page, or it might be if you were featured in a magazine or anything like that, then they might have already got some backlinks for you already, which is helping your business. Try this version of Ahrefs backlink checker to be able to get a glimpse of what's going on in that area. So you can see who's linking to you and how connected it is. You'll be quite surprised. Often they've got lots of other things that you can look at there in your search engine. Google Speed Checker. This is really important, particularly as photographers and video people or anyone who's doing lots of visual things, because this gives us the speed insight. So 92% of people are looking at websites using their mobile phones. So we need to check that the websites that we're creating are loading fast on all devices. So use the free Google Speed Checker. All you need to do is put in your website URL. It will test the speed of your site and it will tell you if that gorgeous image you got on your front page is actually zapping all the speed. So therefore you need to change it. If your images aren't optimized, testing that also on mobile and desktop versions, it gives you different variations too as well. So have a look at that one. And that's it. Hopefully I'm not too far off the 30 minutes and I've got time for some questions as well. As I say, join in the Friday newsletter where you can get 5 free content ideas for you to write about and encourage you to keep talking online and keep turning up. And as I say, use any of the platforms that I've suggested already for you to be able to stand out. If you've got any questions, I'm open to them for anything to do with search engines or whatever you want to be able to chat about today.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Becky, for all this very, very useful information. You put so many different links in there. So I'm very glad there's the recording here so we can go back to them and go through all the individual steps because you shared some very, very useful feedback and insights. So thank you once again. And now the floor is open up to everyone who's joining us here on Zoom, Twitter, or YouTube. If you have any questions specifically to your business, for example, I know there's a lot of photographers, feel free to pop those questions into the chat box. We already had 2 questions coming in, so let me read them out for you. And in the meantime, hopefully more questions will arrive. No question is a silly one, so honestly, feel free to ask anything that you need. So first we have from Sophie, who is marketing manager. And Sophie is asking you, Becky, do you think ChatGPT and AI is going to impact SEO? So what is your angle on artificial intelligence?
Okay, so this is a hot topic that I've talked to a few people about. Now, I appreciate, I struggle to be able to write content sometimes. I've given you some hints about where we can go to kind of spark that ideas. AI is super interesting for people who want to be able to write more content or struggle to be able to write, but also for it to be able to write content that perhaps you wouldn't think of in a way that you wouldn't think of. There's many positives in terms of how that would be helpful in that way. However, what starts to happen is two things. If you're not practicing your writing, if you're not practicing and hearing and listening to your clients, and that's the key thing, if any of us are actually going to events and markets and we have our clients in front of us, the language and the tone and the words that our clients use are the ones that we need to be attracted to, not the ones that I want to talk about, but the ones that they respond to. And I don't currently see a way in AI for that to be able to be picked up. It's quite Americanized in the way that I've seen it used. And the language that it comes back with is not ones that I would necessarily hear my clients, and therefore they wouldn't search for it. But I do have people that use it and they find that it works quite well for social. I think it's early days with it, but it is something that's going to grow and be interesting. I would use it generally as an overview, and then I would top and tail it and then adjust that language within it. But it's a great starting point. I'm all for it to use and to kind of develop that a bit more. But yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Also, an important point, which I should have mentioned at the start, is we're talking about websites here, okay? So for everyone who is joining us here on the call, feel free to drop your details in the chat, put your website, also reminding you that on the Freelancer Club profiles, you can add the website as well. Feel free to share your Freelancer Club profile in there as well, so we can see all the pictures and everything. And that's also a good platform how to utilize your content and how to showcase your content without having to build the website yourself, because as Becky, surely you can confirm, it's not a cheap thing to start with, buying the domain and doing all the background work and all these checks that you've been talking about. So maybe the Freelancer Club website is also a great point to use as a reference point. So please, everyone who's here, put either your website or your Freelancer Club profile in the chat, so you'll get more clicks, more visits, and we can also interact and connect with each other. As Becky, you mentioned, like the conversation is only starting now, so feel free to pop your contacts in there, please. We have a message from Kerman. My website just went live last week. So well done. Good luck with that. Drop us a link in there and make sure you've updated on the Freelancer Club profile if you have one. Message from Stacey. Thanks for all the info. Yeah. Sorry. Yes. Message from Stacey. Thanks for all this info. This was very helpful information. Reiterating that. So thank you very much. We have the Carmen's website here. Wonderful. And one last question we have time for is from Tanya. Again, inviting everyone to share their websites. Are social media hashtags still relevant to boosting SEO?
I'm guessing you're meaning that in Instagram. By all means, come off your microphone so I can actually hear you, but I'm guessing you're meaning that in terms of Instagram or in terms of Twitter. So it's from a search engine point of view, Google's not looking so much for those hashtags. You're using those in Twitter and in Instagram to be able to stand out. But actually, there's been a bit of a shift, and Instagram shifted this week as well. But overall, what Google's looking for, if you think of it more like a hub and spoke. So if you think about a bicycle wheel, we're coming away from keywords that we could just stuff into our pages and websites, and we're looking more for a hub and spoke. So if you imagine in the hub, you have a long content piece of maybe 1,500, 2,000 words that you have written all about your particular niche, your expertise. So you have this hub in the middle. And then from there, you've got spokes coming out. So if I gave that example in terms of photography or wedding photography, if you want me to be super specific, I would have like a long blog post all about everything and anything to do with wedding photography. And then from that, my spokes might be talking about wedding dresses or timing or what to do, you know, what guys can do on their wedding day, or places to go, or hen parties, or flowers, or floristry, or anything like that. So it's coming off in this spoke. So then when those spiders go out, they're looking, someone's search for wedding photographer, they are not just going to find one little page, two little pages about wedding photography, but they're going to find maybe like 15 different pages that are all to do with wedding photography in all the different guises that that might make up. And then from that, the page will rank higher, because you can see that you're not just stuffing it with keywords, but actually you're talking about topics. And that's really more interesting to people searching, because it gives you more validity. It shows who you are, what you do. It shows you much more breadth in terms of what your website has to offer. And your social media will also back that up. So in terms of social media hashtags, it's not relevant in that way. TikTok and Instagram, what they're searching for now, when you go for a search in Instagram itself, or in TikTok itself, or through Google, if you're talking about your topic in your video, so your captions come up, and in your captions, that will help you to boost your search engine optimization in Google as a whole, because it's looking across all of them. So it's not the hashtags, it's more about the content and the details that you're putting in. So it goes back to writing.
Amazing. So much interesting points in there. And as Carmen also mentioned, that would do for another blog post, or maybe even a talk. So thank you. And Tanya says thank you as well. So I think this is all we have time for. Go and follow Becky on different platforms. What is the best platform to reach you on, Becky?
I hang out quite a lot on LinkedIn. You'll find me there. I'm Becky Craven. Or on Instagram, I'm Becky Craven Creative, and you'll find me there as well. Like I say, you can rewatch this back and you can see the QR code if you want to follow anything to do with getting a newsletter and loads of free content that you can just grab and go with.
Exciting. Wonderful. Thank you so much. And thanks also to everyone who joined us tonight here in the room. We're running these events every other Tuesday, more or less. So stay keep your eyes on our social media, the Freelancer Club, mostly on Instagram and all the other platforms as well. Or sign up for our newsletter. If you become a member, it's free, so you get the information in your inbox as well. Thank you once again for this. This was great, very lovely. Thanks everyone for sharing your websites in there. We put together a list so you can go and follow each other on there as well to bring the community together and inspire each other. So thanks you once again, and have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.